Since the 1970s, the physical and political architecture of India's democracy has remained remarkably static. The Lok Sabha, the lower house of parliament, has been legally capped at a maximum of 550 seats since 1976. For half a century, the allocation of those seats has been locked to population data from the 1971 census. On April 16, 2026, the government introduced a pair of new laws, the Delimitation Bill and the 131st Constitution Amendment Bill. These bills propose updating the population math to the 2011 census and aggressively expanding the lower house to 850 seats. Updating census data sounds like routine administrative maintenance, but in a finely tuned constitutional system, enlarging a single gear alters how the entire machine operates. Seats in the lower house are allocated proportionally by population. Because of this, updating the map to reflect modern census data mathematically penalizes states that successfully manage their population growth over the last 5 decades. Looking at this map of the southern states, we can see the projected drop. Tamil Nadu's share of the national voting power shrinks from its historic 7.18% down to just 5.9%. When the lower house grows to 850 seats, while the upper house stays at 250, the numerical ratio between them shifts from roughly 2:1 to 3.3:1. This ratio matters specifically because of Article 108 of the Constitution. It allows for a joint sitting where both houses vote together to pass disputed legislation. Under the new ratio, the lower house's sheer size dominates a combined tally. A ruling government with just a 56% majority in the lower house now holds enough votes to overrule a 2/3 opposition bloc in the upper house. By inflating one chamber and freezing the other, the legislation eliminates the upper house's ability to act as a legislative check. A single majority can now force through disputed bills. Adding seats to the legislature also triggers an automatic expansion of the executive branch, specifically the Council of Ministers, which forms the government's cabinet. Under Article 75 of the Constitution, the size of this cabinet is legally capped at exactly 15% of the lower house's total membership. This bar chart demonstrates that mathematical threshold. 15% of the current 543 seats sets a maximum of 81 cabinet members. With an 850-seat house, that ceiling rises to 122 potential ministers. Without needing to pass any additional laws, this mathematical link allows the ruling government to dramatically inflate its executive footprint and consolidate administrative power. Expanding the parliament accomplishes a dual purpose. It increases citizen representation, and it directly finances a massive expansion of the ruling party's executive authority. Taking all these ripples together, the nature of individual representation changes. In a supersized 850-member house, the voice of any single member of parliament is drastically diluted. Each representative must now fight for speaking time, legislative influence, and resources against 849 others. Underneath these structural shifts lies a procedural reality. The Constitution Amendment Bill authorizes the parliament to decide both the timing of this delimitation exercise and the specific census it uses by a simple majority vote. Because the current ruling party holds that majority, they possess the unilateral ability to dictate exactly when and how this expansion takes place. In parliamentary mechanics, the party with the power to redraw the electoral map dictates the rules of future elections. They permanently change the board the game is played on.